Your boy usually doesn't like to read, but you already know I had to open up the manga and turn some pages for once in my life. Since he got the MC out here fighting his uncle, so it starts off and Gojo just got done crazy. Sukuna tried to give him a fade and ended up taking a bit too much off the top. Look at him! And the craziest part is the barber is still gonna ask for a tip. Kashimo sees this and decides to jump in expeditiously, wasting no time. And while that is going on, Urame is dropping a whole iceberg out of the sky. He thinks he's so cold too, trying to keep a straight face. But he looks up and we get the GOAT entering the scene, wearing the freshest pair of J's. And look closer. Oh no! I don't see a single crease. This type of drip needs to be studied in the history books. Hakari pulls up on some, sorry pal, but I made a promise, you're not going anywhere. And he traps Urame in his domain. But the iceberg is still falling down, and out of the ice, Sukuna grabs a cursed tool. And I was like, bro, that small ass tool, drop some ice as big as this man's forehead for this? But he used it to unleash a lightning bolt on Kashimo's head, who is pretty much immune to electricity. And he asked Sukuna, did you earn the title of the strongest, or were you simply born as such? Because to Kashimo, he has never understood how one can love people who are weaker than him, because he was always surrounded by those as feeble as the dirt beneath his feet. Straight bars, and they get to brawling. Kashimo rushes in to attack and gets blocked, and realizes that there's no point wasting time. Unleashes his curse technique and had this nigga Sukuna shook. Hit him with a clean right. And this is when I almost closed the manga. This man turned into the pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies. I already skipped over the fact that they gave his CT the most garbage name ever. But this design too? Nah, it can't get worse than this. Until I read that once his curse technique concludes, his body will crumble to dust. They about to do this man so dirty. Especially since when you zoom in, you can tell that he also knew he was cooked. He's facing a fully manifested Sukuna in his true form, and he is chopped. Gave bro 4 arms. And Kashimo started polishing his tip. Pause. Sees him wielding 2 cursed tools and starts calling him the most beautiful man he's ever seen. He's weird! And he gets boomed straight to the gut. Sukuna even tries to hit him with a dismantle and manages to weave out the way. And Sukuna stood there and called this nigga a fraud, before jumping behind him and completely obliterating him. Put this nigga in a flashback, trying to show off his jawline. What is he even looking at? They gave him that Trunks treatment. I thought he was about to be tough the way they had him fighting Hakari. Turns out he's trash. Bro's over there smiling like he did something too. Shit's crazy. Sukuna looks up and he sees Yuji, Hakari, and Higuruma dropping down. And he immediately looks at Yuji, talking about, what do you think you're going to do? Sukuna's whole life revolves around the fact that they cost nothing to hate. Then we get a couple chapters of Kenjaku fighting the comedian nigga. This fight was annoying though, because bro pretty much has the power to manipulate reality in any way he wants. But this fool was just trolling. But I ain't gonna lie though, they was looking clean in that tux. Shit. Who told these niggas to pull up like these? And when you just snuck Kenjaku, you already know I was thrilled. We get back to the main fight with Sukuna, and there's a flashback to the group planning how they want to jump this 4-armed villain. Higuruma raises his hand and he's like, my curse technique can confiscate Sukuna's, so he'll go after Kashimo. And look at this fraud. You assuming I'm gonna lose, it's really pissing me off. Man, shut your ass up. You got packed up in like 2 chapters, bro. Higuruma then explains that if Sukuna is found guilty of his crimes and sentenced to death, they could take him out with the executioner sword. And I was like, wait a minute. If? What you mean if? You want him to blow up a hospital too? This nigga done killed Yuji once and destroyed the whole of Shibuya. Matter of fact, he in possession of Megumi's body right now and made him taste Gojo's infinite void like 5 times. He did that shit. He's guilty, bro. They show us the fight and Meme is trying to stall and distract Sukuna with her birds, just in time for the main shooters to pull up. And they get straight to it, trying to do some serious damage. Yuji goes to punch him and Sukuna think he's slick, trying to show no emotion, even though his head is ringing like a cell phone. This old ass nigga's getting called from the Heian era. He couldn't believe all that power came from Itadori. Higuruma hits him with the domain expansion, and what should be the easiest trial ever begins. They come up with the bright idea of having a retrial for when Yuji was on the stand getting questioned, and accuse of mass murder in Shibuya to be caused by Sukuna. Shocker. My goat Hakari broke the golden rule of Jujutsu Kaisen and ran the ones. Urame was out there thinking about his daddy Sukuna, not knowing he better lock in. Urame tries to end him with a frost calm, thinking he's about to win, and Hakari just starts beating this nigga's ass, palming his face and sending him through buildings, doing him the worst. Hit him in the ribs so crazy that you can visibly see the pain on his face. Then proceeded to 2-foot kick him right in the jaw, sending him flying through buildings like a cartoon character. And Hakari hits him with the, ain't no way, you just creased my J's, nigga. And that's when I knew he was pissed. The trial continues and Sukuna told him to stop with all that yapping. He only cares about the executioner sword. Bro heard that he was guilty and started grinning. He's devious. Higuruma pulls out the executioner sword and explains that due to Sukuna's power fight with Gojo, the old man most likely lost the ability to use the 10 shadows technique, and that his shrine was most likely confiscated because of Higuruma's domain. So Higuruma thought he had the upper hand, but his ass almost got cooked. Kusakabe, Chozo, and the shiesty sorcerer Ino joined the group, and he hears that, do you have a death wish, Higuruma? And this nigga felt nothing but straight fear. Sukuna almost boomed this nigga into oblivion, and it turns out that Sukuna had a cursed tool in his possession the whole time, meaning that the target of the confiscation from Higuruma's domain was not the cursed technique, but the cursed tool. Yeah, no, this sorry ass loophole couldn't be me. They get ready to try and jump this man. He takes them out one by one. Completely violated Chozo. Someone tell Yuji to keep his brother. His ass is not needed. Mr. Shiesty pulls up trying to swing at Sukuna, pushing him to the ground, and Sukuna was like, nah, get out of here. And you know the rules of Jujutsu Kaisen. He had to try and jump this fossil, but he was absolutely bullying them. He dodged Higuruma's attack to then turn him into some mashed potatoes and launched him across the map, and he hits Yuji with that let's race fun nigga, and they hit the dash, but Yuji been eating like a certain rapper. He's moving sluggish. Sukuna reaches Higuruma first and tries to immediately take him out the game, and then they put us in a flashback, and I knew it was time. Goodbye Higuruma. Sukuna starts to glaze Higuruma, even comparing his opponent to himself. I ain't gonna lie though, bro needs to get off his knees. This is crazy. They about to box, and right when Sukuna spawns behind him, Itadori blocks him. Sukuna damages his guts, pause, and toss bro aside. Told him he was boring and not welcome here. I told y'all, this nigga is a hater. Bro was literally just complimenting Higuruma, but when it was Yuji, he wiped the smile off his face real quick. But they were fighting so clean, straight highlights, moving with such finesse. Sukuna even hit him with a dismantle, then proceeded to tell him to heal himself. This man is devious. Higuruma got back up though and almost managed to get it, but Sukuna cut off his own hand. So Higuruma got his shit clapped and had to pass on the sword to the man himself, Yuji Itadori. Yuji also ends up getting his shit clapped though, and to heal himself, Yuji uses the reverse curse technique, and then Sukuna proceeds to just stand there, pretend like he's not impressed. Bro is dedicated to the game, about to be a first round draft pick to the League of Haters. He's pretty much like, you pissed me off, I want to kill you. And that's when he smiles. At this point, I can't tell if I'm supposed to be scared or impressed, but this is when he receives Kenjaku's insurance, the authority to begin Tengen's merger, which is basically Kenjaku made a plan to merge humanity with Master Tengen, which would end up creating an extremely powerful cursed spirit. And why does Kenjaku want to do this? Well, as Kusakabe said, he's just a freak. But this is when Yuta pulls up, talking about some, sorry I'm late. Yeah nigga, we know you ain't even want to fight his ass in the first place. You ain't slick. And Yuta ain't waste no time. Instantly hit that domain expansion. Bro took no chances. So him and Yuji get to jumping Sukuna. We don't run no ones around here. Plus they had Rika helping them too. Yuji was even out there trying to disrupt the barrier between Sukuna and Megumi's soul. But I ain't gonna lie, this nigga got 3 more arms. Realistically, what was the plan? And once again, Sukuna was out there cooking his opponents, hitting them with some cleaves. Yuta looking all types of crazy right here, but he even admits that he wouldn't stand a chance against Sukuna if it wasn't for the damage that he took fighting Gojo. And when they apply some more pressure, Yuta does it to him. Hits him with the copycat, the Noahsxz snatch. Copies Sukuna's whole flow and hits him with the cleave. And when I tell you they're really folding Sukuna, gave that man so many combos, he's never gonna run out of food. Yuta hit that nigga with such a clean uppercut too. Look at the form. Immaculate. And while they're still boxing, going absolutely crazy, throwing fists, it turns out that Yuji has an idea to wake up Megumi and try to separate him from Sukuna. So Yuta booms Sukuna with Jacob's ladder, and Yuji connects with Megumi. And oh nah. Bro's talking about, I've had enough. Without his Maharaga bluff, this nigga is a fraud. And then I see that Yuta's domain gets undone, and Sukuna did my board just like Gojo. Slice him like some bread. That's tough. Clearly Sukuna's out here competing against Tony Snell and Klay Thompson. These niggas might as well forfeit. But then Maki pulls up on that type time. Hit the jets to cut Sukuna, had him tweaking because he couldn't heal properly. Yuji wanted to run to help Megumi, and this nigga started seeing stars. Hallucinating to the point where he was about to start daydreaming about Jennifer Lawrence. We get back to Maki, who is running solo with Sukuna, but was destroying everything around him just to get her gone. And look how cold she looks. Sukuna saw that and started capping on some, I've hardly broken a sweat. Bro, this you? Bro's over here manually forcing himself to stay alive, trying to play it cool. We finally get back to my goat Hikari, talking with Urame. And Hikari's like, Sukuna ain't all that for real. He's trash. We can actually beat him and win. But Urame's like, nah, he's yet to go all out. Get off his tip, bruh. Please! Sukuna and Maki are still running the ones, and Sukuna's even launching straight cars at her, just to send her flying into a building and is on her ass, hitting her with that cleave. The Shiesty sorcerer saw that and decided to be Captain Save-A-Hole. Put up just to get his shit rocked. Turned him into straight scribbles. Kusakabe tries to spin back and gets packed up too, so Maki hits that side-eye, realizing that she teamed up with some bots. They're garbage, so she decides to lock in, chopping up and sending pillars towards Sukuna before he palms her face like a Spalding basketball and hits her with a scrumptious black flash. Left Kusakabe to fight Sukuna. I know bro was pissing himself. He's standing there up top looking down at this evil nigga, when really he should be halfway across the country. And I felt bad reading all this sentimental shit about Kusakabe, so I'ma just end the misery, bro. He gets packed up, laid out on the concrete with an X on his chest, and then this freaky deaky ass kid shows up and gets saved by the only black man in JJK, the man who went toe to toe with Gojo. I don't know what they mean by toe to toe. If anything, Gojo's toes were connected with Miguel's jaw. He was on the ground running for his life and begging for mercy, but he pulled up looking fresh, so I'ma let it slide. And once again, they plan on jumping this old man, sending him back to his nursing home. They realize that his domain is sealed. He's weak. He's missing 2 arms and he still has that injury caused by Maki's stab. And they start throwing down, crushing Sukuna into walls. And Miguel is breakdancing around all of Sukuna's attacks. Bro, must have been a tryhard at Dance Revolution. Miguel then uses his curse technique, Hakuna Matata, the on that Lion King shit. And he hits that, I'm not special because I'm black. I'm special because I'm me. Bars! Bro, bars! This gotta be the toughest panel in the manga. He hit that off guard pick too. He knew what he was doing. Sukuna and Miguel get to fighting, and Miguel's actually landing some blows. And while that happens, Chojo and Yuji provide him with some backup. Yuji hit him so hard they had this nigga on his knees. And right here, I've got to stop. Because we find out that Sukuna used the binding vowel to defeat Gojo. And when it comes to Jujutsu Kaisen, I gave up trying to understand shit. When I was reading, trying to comprehend how Hakari's curse technique works, I ended up looking like Patrick. So while Yuji's still fighting Sukuna, who has his toes out, rubbing against the dirt, Maki returns to the lobby, ready to render fade. But they don't realize that the King of Curses is locked in, and he lands another black flash. And then we get Gojo, who is chatted. Where is he even at? Bro's in a trap house with Franklin and Sate. Where's the ceiling? Anyways, he's explaining his ability to spam black flash. But I'ma be real, y'all are gonna have to read that on your own time, because I'm not trying to explain it. But they all start counting on their fingers and realize that Sukuna has unleashed 2 black flashes. And he could have regained his reverse curse technique output since that same thing happened to Gojo before. But Chozo ain't with all that talking. He punched a boulder at Sukuna's chest, had Yuji in the back, shook. Bro sent that shit with perfect form too. And they all start jumping Sukuna for the 74th time, trying to staple him to the wall, and Maki goes to pierce him in the gut. And they start air walking, using the air as a footing to box before Sukuna delivers his 3rd black flash and hits Maki with a cleave. And this is how you know he was really out there fighting Gojo. Cause what is this? This light skinned ass nigga, get your hand out my face. Anyway, Sukuna gets to attacking Chozo and manages to hit him with another black flash before Yuji pulls up to have this man spitting straight blood. Itadori over there in the back though, looking like he could be part of the Ginyu Force. But Yuji and Sukuna finally get to scrapping. They going back and forth before Yuji hits that man with a clean black flash. And after what felt like an eternity, Yuji is finally getting that main character treatment. I thought it was a myth. This is a historical moment. And we find out that Sukuna and Yuji Itadori are actually related, and that Sukuna is technically Yuji's uncle. All I've got to say is that Kenjaku is weird.
See my star shine like a diamond. Can you move a sun on diamond? A million SC.